Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It's your boy DC hosting Out of the Fog, a local matters bop that goes right across the province. Tonight, it's the Natural Emporium. It's Quilts of Valour. And it's our boy Julian and Skytop.tech. We're going to learn all about these things, these incredible people, these amazing industries. It's Out of the Fog. And we'll be right back after this break.
You're watching Rogers TV, St. John's.
I've met hundreds of people out here. I don't ever say a final goodbye. I always just say, I'll see you down the road.
If you want to protect the girls, you have to leave now.
You better watch your noise.
Snake.
I need that girl before she wants him.
How many are coming? 100, 200?
Thousands.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Out of the Fog if you're just tuning in. And as I mentioned before, a whole bunch of wicked individuals coming through talking about a variety of subject matter. Beverly, Simon, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are we?
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Oh my God, it's a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for coming on to join. This is an interesting conversation because since we have met, there's been a real theme around veterans and acts of service and the important work that that community has done and the exposure that they deserve. And so I'd like you to lead us into our hang today. And what's that there on your lap?
This is what is known as a quilt of valor. Mm-hmm. They're made all over Canada. Okay. Mine specifically was made here in Newfoundland in Bonne Bay by a quilting group of church ladies. They hand sewn this, and then I became the recipient of this beautiful quilt in August of 2019.
Why?
Someone, I don't know who it was, but someone nominated me for this quilt to say thank you for my service to the Canadian Armed Forces and to the country.
Did you know this was coming?
I had no idea. I went to my mailbox, opened up the mailbox, and there was a box. I opened up the box, and in it was this quilt. And I opened it up and unfurled it, and I was literally in shock.
And your quilt has a special label.
Yes.
So perhaps you can show that off.
Beverly says, get at it, show us the things.
No, it's all about what's on the label.
Well, you do the thing. Okay, here we go. Quilt of Valor. Can I read it? Yes, can you read it to me?
It says, handmade with love, respect, and gratitude for your sacrifice to Canada. May the hug stitched into this quilt give you comfort, strength, and love. And then it's done in French. And then it's presented to Simon MacInnis, and it has an ID number. And then the date that this was presented to me, August 2019, and it was made by the Parish of Bonne Bay North Prayer Group, Quilt Group.
Yeah.
Cool. Beverly.
Yeah.
WT is going on with this?
Quilts of Valor is across Canada.
Okay.
It's a volunteer charitable organization, and we make quilts for deserving veterans like Simon. And they're typically donated by quilters. And you can say, just spread that out, Simon. You have, and they're beautiful. It can be any pattern, anything you love, but you know, it's just a beautiful thing, right? And so we, this was started as a way to honor veterans for their service and sacrifice to Canada. And in Newfoundland, we have many veterans, as you know. Most of us have a connection.
Thank you for saying, as you know, because guess what? I don't know if we know. I don't know if we're viewing tonight and knowing how many folks in our province have ties to or have served in the forces of any kind. I don't think that's appreciated enough. What do you think?
Well, I think it's easy to forget. Mm-hmm. And this is one reason that we want veterans to know that they're not forgotten. We care about them, that there are actually quilters across the country every day sewing thinking about how to put this fabric together, and and Simon gets to present them. And that is amazing. We get to meet veterans and their families and just say, you know what, thank you for what you've done. We care about you, and these quilts are a hug from a grateful nation. That's really, because part of the presentation, and I don't know if you got to do this, Simon, is we asked them to wrap the quilt around their shoulders. It represents a hug. So if you didn't do that, you got to do it now.
I did it. Yes,
You did
I did it multiple
Amazing.
times.
So many of the pictures you'll see of presentations on our website and Facebook page, the veterans, the soldiers have their quilt wrapped around them, and that's what it's about. And it's really just to say thank you, and that we really care about what you've done. So in Newfoundland, we have a lot of veterans waiting for quilts who've been nominated. I'm sure not.
Really?
And again, I've got almost 80 waiting on quilts, so I'm constantly on the bum to quilters to make us a quilt. And many have, and we have a lot of amazing quilters in this province. And so if you haven't heard about us and you know a quilter, give them a little poke, say, hey, check these guys out, we need quilts. Because they do take a long time to make.
How long?
Oh, it can take weeks,
months.
Many of them are made by a group of people.
A few T-bones eaten during making
Oh,
it,
yes,
I'm
absolutely.
sure.
And,
Scattered
you
cup
know,
of tea.
because, you see, we cut up fabric and then we sew it back together, right? And then that takes a lot of time.
There's no specific pattern to this. So the quilters, they can come up with their own pattern for their quilt, but there are some standard quilt blocks that Quilts of Valour suggests, but they'll take a quilt from anybody and any pattern whatsoever.
Yeah, and we could help with some of the supplies if need be, because it's also very expensive, hundreds of dollars to make a quilt.
Oh, I believe it.
It's not a cheap endeavor. So we do have some sponsors that can help, and we can give some supplies. But, you know, getting a quilt donated so that I can just pass that along is amazing.
What drew you to this? What's your connection?
I love to quilt, and I'm new to quilting.
Okay.
So my mom quilted
Did she?
the whole life. She's still quilting. She's almost 90. She's still quilting. I grew up in Stephenville, which has a base, an American Air Force base. So I grew up around the military.
Right.
My dad worked on the base for a few years as a civilian, and I've always just had that connection. I have a niece now who's serving. So to me, it's very familiar. And when I heard about Quilts of Valour, I literally was looking on the website of Canadian quilters and clicked on this, and I went, oh my
Full circle
God,
moment.
here's what I have to do.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, I'll just say this, we're in our wrap moment here, so forgive me. You know, one of the greatest gifts of working in cause work, as I do under the umbrella of marketing, but no less, is how many incredible people do tireless work in the shadow of life, not for attention, but just to do good and help us take care of each other. And I think that you both, for the service and for the service, are both to be commended. So many folks watching this across the province tonight are learning more about this, and I hope that they can get in touch. Before we break for now, where can folks get in touch with you?
The online, quiltsofvalour.ca. And you can find my name or the name of representatives across the country, and that's our info is there.
I love it.
Yeah.
Beverly, Simon, so glad you guys came on.
It's been awesome.
Thank you.
My heart is warm.
Good. We like that.
Well, I'm glad, and I hope that when we all go to the break, that we remember all the amazing, incredible, diverse folks who have all done their piece to serve our country, our province, our world. So it's very rewarding to be a part of a hang like this. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
It's Out of the Fog, guys, and we'll be right back after this break.
All right, girls.
Mom, you said it's played again. Workplace injuries hurt the most at home.
It was my daughter's birthday. She was blowing out the candles on her cake when we heard coming from the TV. So we stopped and listened, and it helped us get to safety. That's why when I think of my daughter's birthday, because now she gets to keep having them.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Out of the Fog, and we have been having such a wicked time so far in this show, and now we're about to take it to the next level. Yay. Amanda, what is up?
Hi, Danny. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. It was so great to run into you after the amazing time that we had together in the experience of helping you bring together the Natural Emporium in the square, and now look at us 3 years later.
I know. You came up with the name?
Well, I think... You know what? We, the Royal Val. I'll tell you, I didn't know then as much as I know now about the power of everything that you sell and everything that you do and the community that you are now in the forefront of. Could you have expected when you dared to open a business that you would be where you are today?
Never, 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 never. I have a family now outside of my blood family. I have my Emporium family, all my beautiful customers that come in, and they share their story with me, and I try to bring in things that spark joy in people, you know?
I love that.
So I'm so grateful. 3 years tomorrow.
Isn't that crazy? I love that.
Yeah, so great.
And so let's just zoom out for a sec for the folks watching at home.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Natural Emporium.
Yes.
Specialty store in the square. Yeah. And why don't you tell us everything?
All right. Well, our tagline is essentials and oddities for a kinder world. And that's really what we wanted. We wanted to bring together like magic and kindness. And just to bring in things that give people a new beginning. You know, like whether it be oracle cards that start their morning off every day with something that reminds them they're awesome and, you know, they're going to conquer this day like nothing else. Or a crystal that brings them strength, or, you know, that they, if they're going through a hard time, that they can feel it and it's in their hands. And I mean, it's jewelry from Mama Earth, you know, we get to have it. It's a beautiful gift. So that's what it is. We have all those beautiful magical items. That's magic is my word. I love it. And then everything in the store is also plant-based and cruelty-free. So anything that we sell, like hair products or some little snacks we have, that's my other passion too. So the store came about from 2 trips. One was to Salem with the witch trials. Right?
You went there for that?
We went there to experience what Salem looks like now after being, you know, in the 1600s, they had to go through all the witch trials and everything, and how everyone is free there now, and it's a real like town of magic. And my other trip was to a farm sanctuary in Milton, Ontario, where I got to visit all these beautiful rescued farm animals. And after that, I said, here's the store, magic and kindness.
Boom, just like that.
Boom.
I think it's important to iterate the cruelty-free aspect and what that really means to folks who may not be as woke as we are about the industry itself.
Yeah.
How much suffering goes into a lot of the products that we don't realize that we're buying.
Yeah, that's so true. And so I'm really cautious and careful over everything I bring in, and where, you know, whether any animals were used in making anything.
Testing on.
Exactly. Right down to, you know, where were these items made and were they made in, you know, good conditions. So I really focus on that because, you know, it's no good to bring home a product that has hurt someone along the way. You know, it all has to be joyful and have that beautiful energy of, you know, helping everyone.
I love that. And I think that your store has become so popular because of the energy that you and your staff bring to the culture of what it is that you're providing. And these pieces that you sell have such power and meaning already baked into them, which is ironic because they're all so natural.
Yes, exactly. Like a piece of amethyst, you know, it's incredibly magical. You know, some people really do feel the vibration from the stone, but even if you don't, just knowing it came from the earth and the power it has. And, you know, I brought a piece of amethyst to every appointment my dad had at a cancer clinic. And he would ask for it. He'd say, oh, do you have your amethyst? It just brings that comfort.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, for a moment, take me back.
Yes.
You're a child in the world.
Yes.
Were you always interested in the magic and wonder of these arts?
I was, but it was more for me about, I could feel energy. I could walk into a room, and lots of people, most people do, you walk into a room and you know if something really exciting had just happened or if something not so exciting had happened. You can sense that energy.
True.
So I've been really sensitive, you know, and I might cry for no reason. And I finally found out it wasn't even my energy. It was, I was picking up on someone else's.
Some call it a sixth sense.
Yeah,
perhaps.
yeah.
Intuition.
Intuition, empath. Some people call it empath. And then it's learning to change that into a gift. Because sometimes you can feel like, oh God, I don't want to have all these feelings. But when you know it, you can use that to, you know, change your environment, feng shui, you know, set up yourself for success. Yeah, I love it.
So, I mean, so many folks love the Natural Emporium. They come in, they see you. They love the natural products you sell. A lot of what you sell is ritual related.
Very much, absolutely.
Yeah, I want to ask you just to help lead into this. I don't know if a lot of us give proper tribute and credit to the importance of rituals in history and in society. Am I right?
It is so true, and it's something that's missing now, you know, like, especially where we're not gathering as much at the moment. But the idea, like, it was a full moon last night.
I know.
Right. And so we can celebrate, even if we do it individually, but we're celebrating as one, the full moon. And I mean, we are so connected to that cycle. It's such a part of us. The whole world, the whole earth feels it. And so there's rituals. You don't necessarily need any tools, but tools are a great reminder of what you're doing. Like if you wanted to light a candle to set your intention, full moon is a great time to give birth to a project that you've had on your mind. You know, there's so much energy. And to also just feel connected. Like we're celebrating a moon that everyone else can celebrate and look up and see. Yeah.
I think there's some powerful songs written about that too.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, we're parting ways for now. Where can folks find everything that you have to offer us?
Yeah, Emporium on the Square is my Instagram. We're right in Churchill Square. Yay, developing Churchill Square.
I know, beautiful, so exciting.
Yes, on Facebook at the Emporium. And they can follow me personally too in my journey on Silver, Sparkle, and Grace.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming by to hang out with us. Everybody, check out the Natural Emporium in the Square. Everything you buy has mindfulness out the wazoo. Beautiful experience, and you're going to find some wicked people to get you woke to all the exciting, magical things going on in life. This is Out of the Fog. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog. I'm your boy, DC. And like I told you before the break, we're talking about all sorts of stuff here tonight. I'm joined by Julian. What's up?
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
It's a pleasure. It's so cool that when we reached out and had a conversation a while back, you have a very interesting startup. Why don't you let us all know at home about it, and we'll chat from there.
So, like every entrepreneur in Newfoundland, actually, I got this idea through COVID, which is, so I was actually working at the bank, and I have a few buddies, and I've actually started projects before going through the Genesis Center, and nothing I really wanted to, nothing really panned out. But as an entrepreneur, we pick up and we keep going, right? So one day I was looking at, I was just using the computers there at the workplace. I noticed how kind of slow the computers are. So I wanted to, I was wondering, how do I make a solution that's kind of scalable, fast and cheap to solve something like that? So then I came up with some research with cloud PCs, which is kind of like virtualized computers and stuff like that in the cloud. So then fast forward, I started a company called Skytop Computers. So basically we have two products, right? So we have a cloud PC and we have a Skycast device, right? So the cloud PC is basically streaming to you a computer over the cloud, right? So you sign up through the website, you go from step one, choosing the specs you want, so like, like i3, like, the CPU, GPU, all that stuff. And then from there, it'll be automatically issued out in like 5 minutes, your own computer in the cloud. And from there, you can actually access that from your iPad, your phone, your TV, on your friend's computer. So it's kind of like accessing Netflix, like anywhere, right? And that's based on a subscription package so that you don't ever have to buy a computer at full price ever again. And then the Skycast device, which is kind of like if you want the full experience, you can hook that up to your monitor or anywhere, and your mouse, your keyboard, and actually stream the computer to the box. So that's the two products there. So
thank you. And yet now I'm about to go in on all of this.
Sure.
Take me back, pre-COVID. What were you at?
So pre-COVID, actually, I was working with my mother. She actually has a startup or a company that has to do with water filtration. So I was actually on the team and on our board. We were actually in California. So before COVID, I was actually in California. We were doing some interesting stuff with that. And then COVID happened, so I kind of moved back and I started working at the TD Bank here. Currently now I'm working with the Memorial University in their entrepreneurship department.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And I kind of do this on the side with a few of my other buddies.
Talk about what it takes to turn an idea into a thing.
So there's a few things actually. And I kind of run this through the, because we run courses, entrepreneurship programs that month.
Right.
And the way we kind of tackle ideas, right? It's not to find a solution and then sell the solution, because then you're building a key to find a door for the key to fit in that door, which is really hard.
It's an interesting way to put that.
Right? So we want to fall in love with the problem first, right? So then figuring out, that's the door we want to solve, let's make the key for that door.
I think it's pretty amazing. And so, as we move through our hang here today, I would like you to let me know, like, how do you feel about where things are with your idea today, and how much interest are you getting, and how exciting is that?
So recently, we're actually doing really well. Like, I have actually a team built now. It's really, really weird. One of my CTO, he actually works for RBC, and he's like a tech lead there, right? So like he's really, really good at technology, which was very lucky for me, right? But it was funny because we actually both went to high school together, and we're both in entrepreneurship class, the elective there. And then we ended up doing something like 5 years later together. It's crazy how things can pan out. But so we just actually completed one of our phases for the product, and which is like the cloud PC itself, which is we're actually having a few users already on that product, and we actually were working with a school here, and how Chromebooks, because now all the high schools now, the government allocated $25 million for Chromebooks. So we're trying to work with them and figure out there's a precedent now set for schools with having laptops, but the thing is that $25 million for laptops, is that going to be a recurring thing, right? So we're looking at, okay, can we, with regards to that market, we'll be able to reduce that cost to 75%, right?
Of course.
Exactly, because with cloud PCs, we can make things a lot cheaper and save a lot of money, and so it's pretty interesting there.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, and the last part is that with the hardware aspect I'm talking to, like the box that requires Wi-Fi to hook for your PC. We're actually starting to now try to get users for that. So we're building it right now. So we're trying to find people who are interested in using something like that, and kind of sign them up and see where it goes.
You're a savage.
Oh yeah,
I'm terrified. Please hire me one day. Where can folks in our final 5 seconds of time get in touch with you to learn more? Let us know everything.
For
website, social.
So you can
how do we get at you?
you can follow us, check us out on our website on www.skytop.tech. You'll find through all the information about a product, and you can sign up and take a look. We have Instagram at skytop.tech, and we have Twitter at Skytop Computers. we're new with the social media right now because we've been so focused on the product.
Of course.
Yeah,
Listen, your head is in the right place, trust.
Yeah.
Guys, another example of startup culture, technology, productization, big dreams coming to life, utilizing community. So many partners are making this possible. I wish you all the best. Come back on once you've taken over the universe. Would you please?
Yeah, I'll do the Jeff Bezos and buy the Rogers.
You'll also teleport in, wow us, and then beam out again. Perfect.
All right.
Guys, it's Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Out of the Fog tonight. Always such a pleasure. Thank you, Julian. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate you all so much. And I appreciate everybody who volunteers and works here at Rogers TV to help make this show happen. You're seeing all the amazing folks tonight. You're seeing all the people who work hard to make this show come together every week so that folks across the province can know what's new, what's happening, what's fresh. And I'm so thankful to be a part of that and to help you guys know what's on the go. This is Out of the Fog. We'll see you next time.